Hello there everyone, how are you doing today? I hope you're all well. Today we're going into r/entitled people, where entitled employees actually kick someone off of a mobility cart. If you enjoy the stories I have for you all today, remember to like, comment, and leave a subscription below. Sorry, I forgot the Englishing for that for a second. Anyway, let's get started, shall we? Women at the club won't stop groping me and my friends until we pretend to be gay. A couple months ago, my friends and I were at the club having fun when a group of women in their 30s were having a party and basically forced themselves in. They were extremely handsy, even though they were married, and kept trying to force the single friend in the group on my roommate. They would not take no for an answer until my roommate said that he was gay, which he was not, by the way. Not wanting to leave my bro hanging, I regaled them with the tales of how much he loved cock. Eventually, they left us alone. This wasn't about 2009 or 2010. I was just reminded of it recently because a female friend was proudly telling a story about threatening to castrate someone because he said something about her younger sister. They were all high schoolers. Just the pure entitlement in both of these stories to do what they did, knowing they wouldn't suffer any consequences. She seemed to take offense that I said if a white woman threatened to castrate me, a black man, I would take that as a very real threat and would physically defend myself. Employee tries to kick me off a mobility cart. This is my first experience with an entitled person other than my mother, and I'm not sure if it belongs here or not. I'm an 18 female, but sometimes people think I'm 16 due to my baby face and severe acne. I have POTS along with permanent nerve damage in my legs. This leads to me using mobility carts in stores like Walmart if I could find them. See where this is going? I go grocery shopping with my dad. He helps me with things that I might not be able to get myself, especially if I can't find a mobility cart. So we walk into Walmart and I see 3 mobility carts lined up against the wall. My dad tells me that he's going to go to the bathroom. So I get into a cart and I wait by the shelves nearest to the entrance. An employee asks me if I'm waiting for anyone, and I tell her I'm waiting for my dad. I'm not sure if she saw us walk in or not. It also didn't click for me that she may be questioning about why I'm in my cart. My dad comes out of the bathroom and meets up with me, and before I get very far, the employee yells at me,
"Ma'am, that cart is for handicapped people only."
I was taken aback, so I stutter and say, I know, I am handicapped. She replies,
"You walked in here, didn't you? You can walk around the store."
Getting more irritated, I tell her the details of my disabilities are none of her business, but I can assure her that I am. She walks over to me, turns off the cart, and tries to yank me out of it. My dad steps in and gets between her and I, and he says, "What the fuck do you think you're doing? My daughter said that she's disabled. Are you really going to interrogate everyone who grabs the cart about their health?" She just gets red in the face and says,
"She's too young to be disabled. She's just being lazy."
At this point, I thought my dad was going to start throwing hands with this woman. We obviously attracted a crowd, and security walks over. My dad and I explain the situation, and to her credit, she says exactly what happened. The security guard asks if I have proof of my disability. I get up and walk with both of my legs buckling and my right leg being bowed in. That's good enough proof to him, and he walks off.
She says, "Well, why didn't you do that in the first place?"
I tell her, because I don't need to prove anything to a random stranger with no authority. She seems slightly embarrassed and mumbles something under her breath. Then she goes back to where she was standing, and my dad and I just go on with our shopping. Some people. Update: I filed a police report and contacted the store manager. The officer I talked to said that he'd see what he can do, and the store manager said that he'd get to the bottom of it, and there will be consequences. Hoping there actually are, and I'm not sure the officer took my report seriously. There does seem to be some action taken though. Update 2. I called the police department for a copy of my report, and there wasn't one. What a shocker. Still nothing from corporate, but they are aware of the assault and should have the footage. That woman really needs to get fired, I will be honest here. Aunt tries to ruin my wedding. I'm getting married tomorrow, and my narcissistic aunt just tried to ruin my wedding by creating chaos, because what else would she do? This aunt has a long history of accepting invitations to events and then creating some elaborate story, days or sometimes hours before, to not come. However, she seemed excited enough this time, and I thought maybe it was an important enough milestone for me so she'll finally show up. Keep in mind, I've been talking to her about this wedding frequently. She showed me her dress, asked for directions to find the venue, asked me to invite her sons. Originally only hers was invited because I don't have a strong enough relationship with them, and because we are having a small wedding. We invited her months ago, and until yesterday, I would never have guessed what has transpired in the last 24 hours. My aunt messaged me to ask me to invite her mother, a very ill and fragile old lady who's 92 years old. I said yes, and that I needed to check with the venue to accommodate her. Her mom uses a wheelchair, and she travels with a nurse, so it wouldn't be only her, but also the nurse that I had to make room and get food for. I spent hours trying to figure things out with the venue kids. Keep in mind, this is happening 2 days before the wedding. After the initial message, she said,
No, sorry for asking. It was rude for me to ask you that close to the date.
She then went silent, didn't answer messages or phone calls for more than 12 hours. But then she sent a message to the group chat with all of the guests saying she wouldn't be attending, but said nothing to me directly. I messaged her again, thinking something bad happened. I was worried about her. Then she finally replies back and tells me that she's deeply offended. I could not tolerate anyone making her beg for her mom to attend any event. She never had to beg, by the way. Oh, and she adds that she still loves me, but it was a very rude thing for me to do, even when I was told by her many times of the fragile state of her mom and how difficult it was for her to be outside. I told her that I was trying to be mindful of her condition, and that it was a very hurtful thing to do. I was disappointed in her actions. She then proceeded to tell me that I was closed-minded and that she was not going to attend because I didn't deserve her presence and that I was not that young anymore. I should be sleeping right now, but I needed to write this down somewhere to make sure of what happened. Update. The wedding was a great success. I was crying tears of joy the whole time because our friends and family surprised us more than once with gifts and gestures to show their love. I'm not a very extroverted person when it comes to throwing parties, and this experience of planning a wedding had me very anxious, but the result exceeded any expectations I may have had. I write this from my bed while I'm all sore from doing so much dancing and laughing. As for the toxic aunt, I sent her a single message, goodbye. After that, I blocked her everywhere possible and showed my family the messages. They all told me to send her to hell together, and there she will stay, more alone than she already is, with her lies and her poison. I don't even wish her ill, I just don't have any more time to waste on her abusive people. On to the next story. Karen.
Do you know who I am?
No, actually, could you tell us?
My husband is.
No. That's your husband. Tell us who you are. This happened on Thursday, but I forgot to post this. So I, 27 male, was walking to the metro when I saw a guy getting harassed by this short woman. This is what I can remember them saying, translated from Dutch. You have been following me since we were in the local supermarket. What is wrong with you?
How rude. Do you know who I am?
And I blurred out, why don't you tell us? In that moment, I know I might have messed up. Both are now looking at me. The woman yelling in an insulted tone.
My husband.
Insert name I don't remember.
He's a famous accountant at.
Insert company name here. Me having given up on escaping. That's who your husband is. Who are you?
My husband got a promotion last month because he helped.
That's what your husband has done. Who are you, and what important thing have you done? The man now grinning. Yeah, tell us, Wappy. That's the Dutch word for Karen, in case anyone wants to know. The woman, now red-faced, was stammering, unable to come up with something. I then asked, "Could it be that you have done nothing important?" And the woman just says,
Let me think for a second.
She then started to think and slowly turned pale. I then asked the same question again. "Who are you, and what important thing have you done?" Without an answer, the woman left, having a pale face. I then said sorry to the man for not minding my own business, but he said it was okay and thanked me. I still wonder who she was and what she had done that made her so important. Oh wow, famous accountant. There's your oxymoron for the day. Adults refusing to work service industry when they need money. I'm in my mid-30s. I have two friends of a similar age who are poor and need work but aren't working. I understand if you have a degree or used to run your own business, it's hard to want to be a server or a cook or work BOH, but when you need money, you need money. Why would you even not consider? It's no one's first choice, but you can find a good gig that works for you if you really, really needed it. One friend lives with their parents, one lives with his son and girlfriend. They have both told me they are available to leave home and work, but are waiting for a good enough job. They're both smart guys who have worked service industry before and don't want to go back because it's depressing. I understand this to an extent, but it's also frustrating trying to relate because it doesn't feel like a choice for me or a lot of people who work these jobs. The scenario that got to me was when my friend asked to hang over around dinner time. I had just gotten off work and was picking up food. The friend who lives with his parents meets up with me at Subway where I just ordered. He said he's hungry but doesn't have enough for food and gas to get home. Later that night, he mentioned a show he wanted to see with me in a month, but tickets were about $30. I said I had to think about it because I'm kinda broke. This is why I'm making the post. My friend is living at home with his folks and won't get a job, so things like this happen all the time. It's been this way for over a year. I've offered him multiple gigs at places with friends of ours, and he is holding out for something more. I get it, but couldn't you work even part-time somewhere while waiting for that perfect job? We wait out at my place, but we don't get to do a lot because he's so broke. I'm trying to stay on my own goals and budget too, while trying to be there for him. Whenever we hang, he says how bored he is and how he needs money. I tell him to come work with me or one of our friends, and he says no because it's too depressing. He's never worked at places I've told him to come try. Even part-time, he's not interested. He does kind of rub me the wrong way, like he's above this kind of work, but desperate for cash, which I don't understand. I actually enjoy my job because I found a good place. I wish he'd be open to trying. The other friend I feel more for because they are a parent. Similar situation. He's overqualified to work in restaurants or bars, but has before. I've offered him a job with me or my friends in a variety of places, but he said he's scared of getting COVID and bringing it home to his girlfriend and child. That's valid and understandable. I asked if he was just going to look for a work from home gig, and he said that's too boring. I asked what he's going to do then, and he said he's just going to keep looking. He said his bills are getting backed up and turned off. As much as I understand, there's a point you gotta work whatever you can to make it. If you're asking for help on Facebook for groceries, but above working at a restaurant job, I don't get it. I don't have family or anywhere to go if I can't pay my bills. It's game over. I've slept in my car and I don't want to live through that again. Being stable is a goal I protect with both hands at all times. I've worked so many temporary jobs I hated to survive. Yeah, it sucks. There are jobs that aren't your first pick, but help gets you where you need to be. Like, a vital step or every connection can happen if you're open to meeting people and going somewhere new. I know it's not everyone's thing, but I don't know. Sometimes you need to be open to things when your friends are offering and going out a limb to get you a shift where they work or connect you. Like, if your power's about to get shut off, you still wouldn't want to come in and help me do some dishes. Also, love with deep depression and get why the industry gets people in a funk, but it also gets a lot of people out of it with a steady paycheck. Sometimes a good boss and friends too. They're my lifesavers, honestly. I need them. Yes, it's very humbling working jobs like these in your 30s, but my job is getting me out of debt. I have friends, we work hard, we get raises. The goal is to get in, make what you need, get out, or become a manager. It's not forever, but it's a lot of people steady now. A willingness to show up can get you out of a hard spot. I made this post after offering both of them a job with me, where they would work with me and get paid $20 hourly. And because it's a restaurant, they aren't interested. They both have asked me to borrow money for stuff this month. I'm not mad, but I'm laughing like damn. I had a roommate like this. She felt she was entitled to our food and our money, even though two of us were working our asses off every day. In fact, she even asked us if we'd be willing to share our cell phones with her, because she couldn't pay her bill because
God doesn't want her waitressing.
Then ask God for a phone. It's not my freaking responsibility to support you while you refuse to work. That's the end of today's video. I hope you all enjoyed today's stories. If you did, remember to like, subscribe, leave a comment down below, and check me out at twitch.tv/CanJulius if you want to see me do some VTubing and gaming. I love myself a good roguelike. Now I will see you all next time. Bye bye.